rookie bartenders 20%. No droids, no bounty hunters, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies, no SJWs, no anti-white, racist, white females, black females, any anti-white, racist, Latinos, Asians, whatever. I'm done. So, Bill Burr, who is a fairly politically correct comedian, is married to a lovely black woman named Nia. One of my best friends, she was my confirmation sponsor, Danielle, is married to a white man. They have 9 children. And I'm going to say this. It is not the right that makes a big deal about race. It is not the actual liberals that make a big deal about race. It is the left, the hardcore, progressive, quote unquote, actually regressive left. I'll explain why. This country, for the last, before 2008, and we know what happened in 2008, fought long and hard for civil rights. Equality is not superiority. It is not equity. Equity is, you don't want that either. That puts one person over the other. Equality is everybody has chances. There are opportunities for everybody, different opportunities. Equality is everybody's considered, everybody's treated equally, which is if I have a white male friend, I have a black male friend, I treat them the same. Same with my white female friends, my black female friends. Same with anybody, okay? Progressivism, social justice warriors, have worked very long and hard to segregate campuses now because horror of horrors, white and blacks shouldn't mix because white man bad, white culture bad. That's regressive, okay? They've also, attacked white women for wearing hooped earrings. What the fuck? You guys have seen, you guys know the example, so I'm not going to go through it. But it's gotten to the point where it's literally impossible now to have anything to say without one of these empty-headed, regressive, left-wing fascists screaming at what a racist you are, even though they're the ones going after mixed-race couples. You can't get any less racist than that. We have one article, or one person, I think, on Twitter saying that it's always a racist that married the black women, the white. Another, and that was in reference to Bill Burr. You have another, and they're white girls. Another one's showing a picture of Bill and Nia, saying that white men should be put in cages. And then another one calling Nia a racist name, and then this woman went and protected her account. We're not the ones that are bad. We're not the ones with the problems. We're not the ones that have a hard time. I mean, I know a lot of mixed race couples, and it's I don't really care. I mean, I don't care. In the scheme of things to care about, your family, your health, your job, your if you're doing good by other people, being worried about who, what person, color, morning maze, whatever that means, what they're married to, in the scheme of things, is not only unimportant, it's not helpful, okay? it's, dare I say, fucking stupid. You sit there, I mean, these people scream about the KKK, and then they sound just like them. The tweet that Mays showed me was so outrageous. You know, I would expect to have heard some fat, redneck white guy back in the 1950s saying what that girl said. She couldn't have been 20 years old. I'm not going to say it. And then she went and protected her tweets because suddenly she realized that was a really fucking stupid thing to say. Who raised these people? Yeah, well, the war, yeah, it's very petty, but attacking Bill Burr is, I mean, I don't agree with the guy at all on politics. And I'm defending him. Why? Because this is a fundamental right to say what we want, be who we want. The people who see color everywhere are the real racists. And what I find fascinating is they're all white and they don't get it. They really, really, really don't get it. It's they're hurting ultimately themselves. Not that I care anymore. There's an article in the New York Post saying the way that everything's going, the generation to save us all is Generation X. My generation. Generation born between 1965 and 1980. Okay. We're the ones that grew up with Star Wars. We're the ones that grew up at the end of the John Wayne era. We're the ones that revered our grandparents, well, my parents, because my dad and mom were the greatest generation. We looked at the boomers and went, you know, I didn't think it was very cool to dance naked at Woodstock. Okay. I didn't think it was very cool, some of the stuff that they did, even as a kid. And my brothers and sisters are all boomers, except for my oldest, who was born in 1943, and he's a traditionalist. Okay. Those guys I get along with. They were the guys that were born at the end of the traditionalist generation are the real hippies. They're the ones that started it. And they're the true liberals. Okay. They're more like libertarian, which I get along with. I do not get along with lefties. I fucking don't. You people, you're dividing the country. You are race baiting, racist assholes. And don't sit there and point at us. And let's talk about Ripley. Rewriting Ripley. So we've got these two, for the better word, sluts, because they're feminists, so obviously sex is for fun. They were told that. Has nothing to do with romance. Not that any of these people, I mean, if you look at Claudia Gray's writing, know fucking anything about romance. I'm sure the messages of Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, Waterloo Bridge, and several other romantic films, along with The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, are lost to them because they treat men like shit. They treat men like they're disposable, and they think they're allowed. They think they're better than men. Good morning, Trail Up. They think they're on a par of. I don't know what they think. I mean, there are times when I go, I can't even. What are you? What are you? So these bitches, this Kate and this other slut. Yes, I'm calling them sluts. You know, if you're gonna call people I respect, people who are part of the fandom, alt-right and racists and sexists without any real, you're gonna quote them out of context, etc. You're gonna do that. I'm gonna call you out. You're going to add people like Drunk 3PO, Ethan Van Sciver, without really doing your due diligence, and then scream and shout that you did a study of 1 million tweets and all the rest of the stuff, and they're anti-feminist. I'm anti-feminist. We don't need you people anymore. I didn't need you. Why? You know, my dad, World War II veteran, let me go hunting, bought me a shotgun when I was 12. I was allowed to, go horseback riding and work on a farm, okay, when I was a teenager. I didn't play with Barbies. I played with Johnny West. If you want to know what Johnny West was, Google search is your friend. I had Breyer horses. I had a collection. I had over 100. I played with Star Wars. I had G.I. Joe. Okay. I didn't play with girl stuff. Okay. I was a tomboy. I hunted deer. Killed quite a few. I hunted ducks. Killed a lot of ducks. Squirrels, geese, pheasants, grouse. You name it. Okay. And I'm going to do more. Because women back then were already stepping out and doing things that weren't not necessarily traditional things that women did. Okay? It wasn't until I was 15 till I discovered clothes, makeup, shoes, purses. I had always liked boys. I liked hanging out with boys because when girls were mean to me, and the guys were never mean to me. Well, there were, but I mean, the guys that I hung out with were great. Why do I need you talking for me? Why does any woman, and then Ripley, you little bitches, you ignore us completely. 20% of Star Wars fans before Disney came and shit all over everything are women, okay? My best friend Lori, growing up, was a Star Wars fan. I had the Millennium Falcon. I was the only kid in the neighborhood that had the Falcon. And summer days, everybody would bring their action figures. They bring their vehicles. One kid had Luke's X-Wing. Another kid had, TIE fighters and Vader's TIE fighter. And somebody had an AT-AT and an ATST, a chicken walker. We had a blast. So why do I need you? Why do you have to sit there and say girls weren't allowed then? I was a leader of the pack. All right? I didn't need that cunt, purple-haired, man-hating harpy, Admiral I Hate Men Holdo, the bitch. I didn't need Rey, the bestest ever. We had Leia. Leia did it all. She was a leader and a hero before Han and Luke ever got to be heroes. She was a woman who could take care of her man and her brother. What more does a woman need to be? All right? The women who invest themselves in this kind of hatred are indulging, I think, in mental illness. Maybe it's their father's fault. Maybe it's their mother's fault. Maybe their mother said, no, you can't hang out with daddy today because they're divorced. And a lot of single moms are the people in the wrong, and it fucked their ex-husbands over with the kids. All right? They have. I don't know. Okay? But I do know that it's time for you girls to stop. What you did to Jeremy Griggs and Jeremy Hambley, Ethan, Ichibaka, Drunk 3PO, why is he even all the good he does for people? He's the sweetest guy I know. What you did to these guys, Ryan Cannell, who I've never really talked to, but treating him like he doesn't have a brain of his own is defamation of character. And, you know, if I was Jeremy Griggs, if I was Hambly, and I know Hambly's got lawyers, I know Griggs has got lawyers, I know Ethan does too, I would be talking to them. Because what you did is defamation of character. And if something happens where a judge says, fine, we'll have this lawsuit, it opens you up for a lot for what they call discovery. Discovery is where their lawyers get to go through your shit. Okay? All right? And follow the little yellow brick road right to whomever at Lucasfilm is actually giving you the impetus to do that. Because I find it fascinating. Matt Martin. Oh yeah, they are. Matt Martin. Story Group. Retweeted that. Those bitches. Pablo Hidalgo's following them. So I guarantee you, he is part of this. This shit came right from the Story Group. Why are they doing this? I said yesterday they were prepping the battlefield. But they are going full tilt boogie against the fans, and the reason simply is this. The end is nigh. I've talked about this before. I'll say it again. But when you go and look at the numbers, numbers don't lie, okay? The numbers for the High Republic are awful, okay? The numbers for the Rise of Sky, the numbers for the sequel trilogy are laughable. The sequel trilogy should have blown Marvel even when it was doing well out of the water. It really, really should have. Now we've got, and interestingly enough, an interview with George Lucas and his African-American wife talking about everything. Oh yeah, you're right. And basically, George says that Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars. And we all know that. I don't agree with George on politics. Probably a lot of politics. But I'm not about not to defend him. And I'm not about not to defend Bill Burr. I'm not about, and I'm going to defend to the death the guys in the fandom because they don't deserve it. They don't deserve this treatment. These little cowardly bullies who, instead of actually approaching Jeremy Griggs and say, hey, can we talk? They could have asked him. They could have gotten hold of Ethan Van Sciver. They could have, gotten hold of Ryan Cannell, Jeremy, Hambly, any of them. Itchy Baca. He's got open DMs for crying out loud on Twitter. You want to talk? Talk to these people. Why just attack? All because they didn't like a movie which objectively is shit. And guess what, Ripley? Everybody in Hollywood says it now. It is not like it's not like it's a secret anymore. Objectively, Disney Star Wars is shit. Okay? I hate to tell you, all of it. Except for Rogue One, which I think was an accident, and The Mandalorian, which wasn't ever looked at by Kathleen Kennedy. And, you're right on that one, Trencher. And I find it very interesting, the people that are liking this podcast and all the rest of this garbage. I find it very fascinating. I find it very fascinating, and Abu Nas addressed it in a video. Demange and I addressed it in a video. Mark with the C did too, and I think Lord Callis did, and I think the rest of the Dark Council did, but none of the African American men who hate Disney Star Wars were in that group. All right? None of them. I think people are going to get tired of it, Alex. None of these people were in that video because they don't fit the narrative. I wasn't in that video. I don't fit the narrative. Anna, that Star Wars girl. Jesse Milestone. Mecca Random. None of us who've been part of the fandom menace were in that video. Okay? None of us. Excuse me. And it's because we don't fit the narrative. So we're being ignored. And that is bullshit. If you're going to talk about Star Wars fans not liking the sequel trilogy and you're trying to paint them as being racists, well, you better understand that you can't cut out 5 different channels and say, this is the Star Wars fandom. This is Jon Favreau's fan base, which is bullshit, without including everybody. Okay? You have to include Demanjanite, Abu Nas, Mark of the Sea, etc., etc. Me, Jesse, Anna, Mecca, etc., etc. We're all in that. We ruin the narrative. I'm all for ruining their narrative. Why? Because it's time for them to go away. It's time for them. You know, I've said this before, when the shit hits the fan, and it will, you know, let's say like North Korea decides Biden is such a joke, we'll fire an EMP, an electromagnetic bomb, a projectile over Kansas. What that would do would take out the electrical grid for the entire country. Those people would end up being fodder for the rest of us because they wouldn't be able to survive. Okay, they wouldn't, because they don't know how to behave like adults. Now, they're going after Bill Burr, and I'm sure, you know, Kate or the other cunt will say, you're just internalizing your own misogyny. What? What? I don't even know what that means. That is gobbledygook bullshit to rationalize being a hateful, bigoted, left-wing cunt. All right? Okay? You know, just shut up. All right? So they're going after Bill Burr. They're going after people in mixed marriages, which I just call them marriages. As a Catholic, I don't believe in race. I don't see colors. I treat people I treat everybody the same way. You're not going to get your ass kissed by me. There's, you know, yeah, I did. I saw part of it. I'm not really one of those people that will set people aside because they don't look like me. I'm the only person that looks like me. You're the only person that looks like you. Okay? Color, God made us all in his image. All right? So That means many things, okay? Human beings come in many, many different shapes and sizes and in ways of being. And I'm going to say this: the people that go out of their way to attack Bill Burr, George Lucas, others who are married to black men or black women, are the racists. They are the racists. They are hurting humanity too by doing this. And Disney, by not putting their foot down and saying enough is enough, is hurting Disney. Okay, it's time to stop. This shit ends now. Okay? This fucking shit ends fucking now. Period. You are not going to spew that kind of hateful rhetoric on my dime. You're not going to waste. I mean, so let's talk about Kennedy. What does this mean? Well, if this goes all the way back to the story group, this is an attack on the fans for a reason. And I'm going to say this again, and I said this to Doomcock, that they know the end is nigh. That this feels way different than it did in 2013 or 2018. Way different. Because 2018, the Force Awakens was still a thing. Disney was still going, what the hell just happened to us with the downfall of Solo. And they didn't, and Iger was, probably in a whole lot of indecision going, what the fuck am I going to do? So, what you have going on back then is, Iger attempting to fix what was broken by, forcing Kennedy out or giving her a way out and finding, not signing her to another contract and getting somebody else to come in and nobody wanting the job. Nobody. JJ not wanting the job. From what I heard, Christopher Nolan laughing out loud. And the reason is this: the sequel trilogy was so bad, and Lucasfilm is such a cesspool of woke bullshit right now that no one wants it. And that's why Kennedy there was nobody else to come in and do it. And they basically gave Favreau a chance. Favreau went in and did a tremendous job with The Mandalorian. Very simple, elegant storytelling. And they basically said, Kathleen, sorry, but we're going to go ahead with what John wants to do. You have your High Republic project. If it's successful, we'll talk. You'll get the, then she went behind their backs, did the Acolyte. She did that deliberately. All right, we know the story. She went there behind their backs at the Gina Carano thing. This is burning, and she told Doomcock she was going to burn everything down. She told Iger or Chapek, and this is through Doomcock, that she was going to burn everything down, the silly nonsense, to the ground. This is burnt. This is her scorched earth, and the story group is doing it. I mean, the story that Pablo actually ran to Mama Kennedy because Gina was mean to him. It's like, again, how old is Pablo Hidalgo? My subscribers, does anybody want to jump in on that? You know how old he is? And Claudia Gray, you know how old she is? Thanks, Corey. Pablo's 47 years old. Claudia's 50. I think Justina Ireland's 43, 44. They're supposed to be adults. They're supposed to be grown up. I mean, all three of these people are middle aged. All right? I want you to sit back and think about it. Ryan Johnson is what, 45? 46? Either, I think between now and October is when they'll announce it, but Star Wars Celebration is the next big thing. And now that they've opened up Disneyland, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if they keep her around, they've lost. They've basically given up on Star Wars. They've basically given up on it. And I think that Favreau would leave. I would be gone. I'd be like, can I go back to Marvel, please? Can I help do the next phase? Or he could do Swingers too, the middle-aged years or some shit. But something has to give. She has no leg to stand on. I'm gonna go out within, when I'm done with this, in a half hour and or sooner, and go and see if any of those books have sold at our Target, because I guarantee you they're still there. Okay, I guarantee all of them. I'm gonna give it a month. If those books, if Light of the Jedi doesn't move, yep, you're right. Let's see, what did you say? I don't know, Vader fan. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, there is, and a civil war going on there, and it's now a hot war, and them, going after the fans. They are so angry that we didn't like their stuff. They're so angry that they can't sell it. It's not their fault. It's your fault. It's my fault. It's Mark Hamill's fault. It's whatever. It, and it's like, because it sucks. It's not Star Wars. None of this is. I mean, God. There are times when I go, these people have to be living in an alternate universe to get through every day, because you cannot possibly believe any of this stuff is good. You can't. I'm not kidding. I'm like, well, I don't. Here's the deal. Here's the secret squirrel that no one's really mentioning. Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is doing a Star Wars movie. Go onto the Star Wars channel on YouTube. It's getting bombarded with, getting hit hard with Fire Kathleen Kennedy. And it is very, very, and it's all of Star Wars, not just her stuff, all of it. And if her name is smearing Favreau stuff, Filoni's stuff, Taika Waititi stuff, Kevin Feige stuff, and he's the golden boy, you can bet Kevin Feige's pissed. And I would say right now, if you had Feige and Kennedy standing together, and it was who brings more to Disney, Kevin Feige wins in a heartbeat. Very strange that men are actually better at creating visual universes and are better storytellers than women. But I'll tell you something. I am not very, very, very impressed at all with the shit I've seen coming from Kennedy's side, and certainly not from the women who are writing novels. I mean, I don't see that. Here's Vader fan, you're not understanding. He's doing a Star Wars movie, okay? And I'm sure he's not doing it because he doesn't want it to be successful. And I'm sure he'd like us all to like it. Okay? All right. I'm doing a Star Wars movie. We're developing this. What the fuck is she doing? I mean, there are times when I just lay back in bed and go, you know what? I would like to see Star Wars or Lucasfilm disbanded at times. That's how bad this is. You know, and then I would like some ball breaking asshole. Replace her with a woman. Replace her with somebody like me. And I said I would do this. Get everybody together and then fire the entire story group at the same time. And single out Pablo as a bad egg and say, this is how you get fired. And then examples. His attacks on Abenas, his arguments with Ethan Van Sciver, his attacks on fans, calling people man babies, and all the rest of it. You know, to get them all out at the same time would be a great job, a great thing. And, you know, I don't see how else they could, that it could be accomplished and make a statement. If, you know, this is what's going to happen if you go on Twitter and attack fans. Well, Mazarius, though, you remember, he was forced to apologize for that. Danny has something the rest of us don't. 3 million followers, okay? That's a big thing, okay? 3 million subscribers. And Disney, that was Disney that told him to. You know, but I would say, you know, this isn't going to happen anymore. See what happened to Pablo? See what happened to Matt Martin? See what happened to her and her? You know, why we're not doing any more business with Ireland, gray, or older? We can't. This is not an activist group. We're here to do good Star Wars, good Indiana Jones, Willow, and whatever other esoteric fantasy, sci-fi, adventure thing comes along. All right? We're not here to do social justice. You know, and I would tell anybody, if you have a hard time, you can quit. If you have a hard time with this, you can quit. But the old regime is gone, and that's it. Okay? That is it. We're done. Okay? We're done with this shit. Because it would basically, I'm gonna be right back. It would basically, get people, and you scare people, oh, they've lost enough money, robot. They've lost money. You know, their second quarter earnings are going to be quite shocking, I think, at the lack of them. And, well, you know, Vader fan, the way it's going, you look at everything happening on YouTube, the fact that two investors actually had the audacity to ask Chapek during an investor's call says a lot. That says that all of the investors are talking about it. Okay, a lot of people go, yeah, well, they just did, but no, not but. I have a hard time with people who just want to be upset about everything all the time. And a lot of YouTube channels within the fandom, you know, I understand they have to make money, that this is their living, so they throw out there just to get clicks and super chats and stuff, and I understand that. But there has to be a come to Jesus moment. All right, you have to have a dose of reality, because I've said this before, I'll say this again. We don't know what is really going on. All we know is the rumors trickling out that are days and days old. We don't know up to date what's happening. And, I'm going to tell you this too. With this, Ripley stuff, in fact, Ms. Arias, if you can, or one of you guys on Twitter, let me know. Go and see if Jason Ward is following them. Because if you remember right, Jason Ward put that story out there from Deseret News, basically saying, well, the sequel trilogy is never going away. They're not going to retcon it. And I'd like to know if he's following them. Because I guarantee you he's connected to this too. Okay, that guy is the one behind that Kelly Marie Tran stuff. He's a pervert. He's an abusive misogynist. I'm going to say, we don't know what's going on. We really, really don't. She doesn't have a leg to stand on. She doesn't have anything to show for what she's doing. And they're now smearing Disney's good name with all this stuff. Okay? And this is, I'm going to say this. I think, let's say like somebody finds out Ward, we find out that he's being investigated for child abuse or a child, underage, whatever. And that is a federal felony. If you do it on the internet, that is interstate crime. That is a federal crime. So federal pound me in the ass prison is down the road. Okay. I want to say this. If that happened and the FBI starts looking around, I've tried. The one girl's named Kate, and the other's name I can't remember. I've talked about what it is. Oh, that federal pound me in the ass prison, that comes from Office Space. Yeah, that's Office Space, which is one of the greatest movies ever made. But as far as Ripley, I would say that that these two girls are probably not in Lucasfilm, but they're part of that cabal. They're ancillaries of the story group, which I've talked about how Kennedy's people did marketing. They befriended that perverted fuckstick Ward and Molly and Alex at not explaining Star Wars. Hello Greedo and Steele Saunders. Okay, they reached out to each other, and people got access passes to the red carpet, press passes, goodie bags. First, prima nocta at fucking Galaxy's Edge, and all the rest of that shit. And it's really interesting to me that this is actually backfiring on them. I've seen it happen before. I've told you the stories about I was part of a fan website circle. and it was focused on this actor whose name will not be mentioned. We wanted to do a meet and greet with the actor, so I set up a place in New York City in 2004, and the time before de Blasio came and destroyed everything. And it was bullshit. He was nice. He's still a dickhead, but he was nice. The actor was nice. I got to meet the director of the movie. I got to meet the guy who produced it and actually wrote the thing it was based on, which was kind of shocking because I'm standing there also, I'm like, oh my God. And that was inside before the movie started. It was just very, I said hello to Barbara Walters, Minnie Driver standing next to me, putting her makeup on in the bathroom. I'm looking at her going, holy shit, she's tall. They're just people I had to stare down with Josh, what's his name, the singer? Josh Groban. I didn't know it was him. Like, I recognized him, and it took me a couple of days. I'm like, holy shit, that was Josh Groban. No one even knew. Then they're like, yeah, it was. It was very, surreal. A friend and I pulled a Lucy and Ethel thing at one point. We were in a place we shouldn't have been. But it wasn't a big deal. You suddenly realize these people are just people. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a, you know, uh, this guy is, I would say, a grade B celebrity. This actor is now. He's a working actor. He does movies and stuff like that, but he's not where he could have been and should have been. But for some bad decisions, all right, and the fact that he's not the actor he could be, all right. And I think the age of the movie stars is dead, to be honest. But one thing I learned about it is when you get a bunch of people together and they're not in the industry, but they're hangers on, they're fans, but you give them access to you suddenly start this infighting. And what I've discovered is that despite Jason Ward and these other websites and the channels, they're the gatekeepers. They're the gatekeepers actually trying to keep real Star Wars fans out of Star Wars. Okay. I get called a gatekeeper all the time. Yes, I am. I don't want garbage with my Star Wars. Okay. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it right. Or you're not going to do it at all. Period. Full stop. Okay. This is too important of a cultural icon to mess with. And when I was doing that fan website stuff, and basically, being, the PR person, like the Samantha Jones, the party organizer. I was the one who was in shape. I went to the gym every day. I ate right. I exercised. I looked fantastic. If I could find the picture of me with the actor, you go, holy shit. I looked like Jessica Simpson. I was like, 38 years old? Really in great shape. And I got attacked. And then I discovered the person with the biggest website, she was a fat, heinous bitch. Fucking cow. Was attacking people behind their backs, holding secret meetings, lying to the press agent for the actor, and stuff like that. And we had all the receipts, so I just put it all together in an email and sent an email out. And she got kicked to the curb, but the rest of us did too. Okay. That's a lesson. Now I told you about the Welsh actor, Ioan Gruffudd. He was Horatio Hornblower. He played William Wilberforce in the movie Amazing Grace. Very good-looking guy. Not my type, a little bit effeminate, but, he was in touch with the woman who ran his biggest website. And she started attacking his fiance. And it got so bad that he had to quit. And in fact, I think the woman got into a lot of trouble. All right. That's the danger that goes on with fans having an organized, a quote unquote organized group of fans being connected in that way to a star or a studio. Suddenly, these fans think that they're the ones in charge and won't let anybody have access because it's all a power thing. You know, I can't think of a bigger power monger than Jason Ward in my life. You know, I can get you red carpet tickets, honey. I can, to 15-year-old girls. Go on to Chewbacca's blog. Go look at it. Okay? It's really, dare I say, shocking to me about what has happened because these ancillaries were not only allowed all this access, but they're allowed to do the bidding of the story group. Not necessarily all of Lucasfilm, but their marketing directors, because this is all laziness, you guys. Why actually go out and do the marketing yourself when you can send a press release or stuff to a fan website? Think about it. Okay. Sheer unadulterated laziness. And it didn't help the box office. It didn't help Disney's bottom line. It's not selling, higher, Baked Republic shit, is it? It's not. There you go. It's literally hurting it's literally hurting everything because these people are gatekeepers, because they're not really Star Wars fans. I posit that the woman that was running that biggest fan website for that actor was not even a fan of his. It was basically, when you step back and looked at it, she was gatekeeping because she wanted the power. All right, bye, Lothwolf. She wanted the power, okay? And bottom line, that's what Jason Ward is, okay? That's what Jason Ward is. He is, that's what Hell Greedo is. That's what Steele Saunders is, etc. And they're, if you look at their channels aren't growing. Steele Saunders' channel, I mean, look at Geeks and Gamers. Look at Ethan Van Sciver. Look at Midnight's Edge. Look at Clownfish TV. Look at, Drunk 3PO. The people who are part of, quote unquote, the fandom menace, or just the fans who hate this shit, that have been, gatekeeped out, those channels, those websites are blowing up. Meanwhile, the core of the SJW gatekeepers are either flatlining or their channels are dying. It's just really, it's pathetic that Lucasfilm felt like they had to go this way. Felt like they had to reach out to these people because it was a bad idea. I mean, but I'm going to tell you something. Ripley, I guarantee you, is connected to Ward in some way. You can always see it coming, right? And if he ever gets in trouble, or if somebody could actually get into what's going on behind the scenes, you could actually find out through all this if he really is involved. And if he is involved, then we do have a connection to Kathleen Kennedy. Okay? Because I'll bet you, if he ever got in trouble and they start digging into his finances and his work, that you would see him getting paid by Kennedy Marshall. Okay? I don't know how else the guy gets paid. All right, I really, really don't. But and you've got Pablo Hidalgo. This is the story group pissed off because we don't like their books. So I don't exist. Mark at the Sea doesn't exist, and all the white guys are racist, sexist bigots. I mean, that's their narrative, and it doesn't work. It hurts the brand. It really, really does. And I think that this is a lashing out. You know, I really, really do. I think this is the story group and Kennedy lashing out, and it's going to be interesting going forward into October where this goes because we know enough to know there's a civil war. We know we look at the sales numbers for Kennedy's High Republic versus the enthusiasm for Favreau's stuff, and we see she doesn't have a leg to stand on. All right, she doesn't, and it's just really going to be interesting going forward where this ends up. But and like I said, nobody in Hollywood wants her because they know exactly what she is and what she brings to the table, which is, oh God. So Midnight Sedge is on right now, so they're doing Snyder Cut stuff or something, and just get ready for more SJW cancel culture boogaloo going on, and get ready to fight back, and don't be surprised if you find out these people are getting sued. And I'm going to tell you something else. If Jeremy Griggs decides to sue Ripley and the lawsuit goes through, we will find out who's really behind all this. We will. In discovery. Okay? That's where, and then there'll probably be a settlement out of court because they won't want to have to go through the whole thing. And a lot of people probably a lot of people will be shocked, but this isn't over. This is not over. And if anybody can go and tell Jeremy to his face, sue these fuckers if you can. I bless it. Please go and do it. If I get named in anything, I'm on the phone with my lawyer. I'm giving him everything they said. I've said a lot of nasty things on my channel about Hidalgo, about his wife and all these other people. But I have never, ever said anything racist. I've never said anything that was anti-gay or anything else, okay? If I don't like a character, if the character doesn't fit in the genre or in Star Wars, then they're going to be called out for having them in there. But no way did anybody say anything racist about Kelly Marie Tran. In fact, we were the ones that were like, way to tokenize Finn. But wait, we didn't say that. I mean, anyway. And I also think Zack Snyder going over and doing this stuff with Geeks and Gamers, I think is going to be very eye-opening for a lot in Hollywood. Okay. This is Steph, signing out. Just keep your heads up, eyes forward, and keep marching. We got this. I know we do. I'll see you around the galaxy.